Welcome to PastMaster, the show where we try and reshape history with the help of our AI-powered GameMaster. Today we are going to be using AI chatbot Claude to establish, was Atlantis actually real?
I wonder if he's going to say, I'm sorry, I just made it all up. Have you heard of an allegory where you're from?
Yeah.
Is Plato any good at wrestling? Plato, despite his age, twists out of your grip. The students swarm you. Oh, wow. Fists and feet rain down. You are overwhelmed in seconds. Bones crack.
Oh, God, that sounds awful.
All that and more. Okay, we are back in the studio. Slightly different studio, same vibes. Tan, how you doing?
Doing well. It's a slightly better vibe. The air conditioner is nice and cool, feeling fresh, feeling groovy.
Yep.
Should we mention at this point that we have got our stage debut coming up on the 20th of October. We're going to be taking part in the Cheerful Earful Podcast Festival at a pub called the Bedford Pub in Balham. So
live on stage.
PastMaster going live. Yeah, it's gonna be. Well, hopefully it will go well, but it's gonna be an experience.
How could do anything but go well? So yeah, check it out online and buy some tickets and come down because it is cheap as chips.
And that's the Cheerful Earful Comedy Podcast Festival.
We'd love to see you down there. Buy us a drink and have a listen to the show live.
We'll buy you a drink.
We'll buy you a drink.
Right, so I've been playing a computer game. I know you're a fan of, Ryan, as well, called Civilization.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something you've ever...
No.
It's kind of, if you imagine, what's the football manager game? Championship Manager?
Football Manager.
Yeah, or Football Manager.
Football Manager.
Yeah.
So it's kind of that, but you're managing a civilization instead of a football team, if you will.
So slightly grander scale.
Well, arguably. It depends on the football team. And you start off with a little man on the world and you have to discover the continent.
Is that like The Sims?
Kind of like Sims, but more grander scale, if anything.
Or like Theme Park?
Yeah, it's basically that sort of
probably
vibe.
more like theme park than Sims.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it just made me think of, first principles of PastMaster. If you were sent back to medieval times, say, what's the one bit of knowledge you've actually got that you could use that wouldn't rely on science and inventions that haven't been invented yet? I think the way forward is through arts, like rip off a load of Beatles covers, and knowledge of geography.
Oh, so...
America's over there. It's got some great stuff in it. Let's get over there now and get it.
But before...
Yeah.
But before America was discovered, like, there was rumours of a land beyond the sea for hundreds of years, I think. So how would you actually get your voice heard? You're like, no, let's go. Like, how would you actually persuade people?
I bet someone £1,000.
That's a lot of money, right?
Yeah, I said, I bet you anything. How much do you want to bet? I'll bet you anything. If we keep going, eventually we'll get to this land which is just bountiful, and there's loads of people living there, but don't worry about them. But they're going to get absolutely done in later.
We'll give them the smallpox.
Etc. Yeah, but I reckon that's it. Geographical knowledge and Beatles songs.
So yeah, you could discover continents. You could maybe try to think what else, like. Obviously, like Australia, another continent. For some reason, my mind's jumping to like Everest. Like they would have known Everest existed.
Do you know what? There's a mountain. You aren't going to believe how big it is.
The tallest.
What are they eating back then?
All sorts of.
Is there some
rubbish? I think just like bits of grit and
could
grain.
we like transform cuisine for them?
Like a
carbonara.
Yeah. That'd be your go-to.
Yeah, just whip one of them up.
Pasta would be quite good, wouldn't it? If you just like grind up wheat, dry it out into little long noodles, and you go, that's spaghetti.
Yeah.
You'll enjoy that.
Wait till you hear about orzo.
How about this? How about...
Wait, if you like spaghetti, wait till you're about orzo.
You like spaghetti? You like rice? Well, this looks like rice, but it's actually spaghetti.
Next week, gnocchi.
Where did you pull orzo from? It's the weirdest pasta.
I quite like the idea of inventing pasta or pizza or whatever in the UK and just sort of ruining the Italians' food heritage before it even starts. So all the good foods, people just think, oh yeah, that's
from Britain.
Yeah, the Anglo-Saxons.
They invented Hawaiian pizzas.
Yeah. Okay, so you've rustled up a pre-play, or are we a live play?
This is live, this is untested, This is an absolute experiment. I don't know how it's going to go. So All I will tell you is that I have stripped down the prompt, the starting instructions, so they are very simple, realistic. There's no lives. Just if you do something that would kill you, you get killed, and it's game over.
Okay.
But it's not going to be super harsh. It's not trying to trip you up and trap you. The only sort of magical, whimsical conceit that we're allowing is time travel, which is core to the game.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I've told it to be realistic and to speak in short, sharp sentences in the style of Ernest Hemingway, who famously wrote in short, sharp sentences with no frills.
So we are still on Claude for this.
Posh Claude.
Posh Claude. Premium Claude. Yeah. Luxury paid for Claude. Let's give it a go.
Okay. So a little bit of preamble about what I'm going to do. So, Keon, what do you know or what do you think you know about Atlantis, if anything?
I literally know nothing.
Does the name ring any bells to you? Have you never heard the word Atlantis before? Right, Ryan.
There was a song by the Klaxons called "Atlantis to Interzone."
Oh, so
great song, great album.
Okay,
Mercury winning prize.
Do you remember the lyrics? Did they give any clues about it or not really?
No, I don't know.
Is that the one that goes?
Yeah, you know. Banger. That is a absolute. If we can get the clearing rights to that, stick it on it.
That reminds me of uni days.
Yeah. It was that era, wasn't it? So they were singing about it there. That's literally probably the only time I've ever heard that word.
Okay. So have you heard the word Atlantis, Ryan?
Yeah, it's the lost city that's supposedly sunken under the waves somewhere, and it was apparently like this civilization was around. It's like the original civilization, or it was around, like, you know, well before the Romans. That's pretty much it. So it's this. It was mentioned in Plato. So Plato was a Greek philosopher who I think was alive around sort of 400 before Christ or before Common Era, as we now say. I obviously love Plato because Plato was his wrestling name. It was kind of like if Hulk Hogan had been a philosopher. You know, that's how stupid it is. Anyway, so
wait, he was a philosopher.
Yes.
And he had like a normal name like Kevin, or probably wasn't
exactly.
Kevin.
Kevinus or Kevinopolis.
And then in his spare time, he went wrestling.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, like, I don't know what his trade.
Or was wrestling his. What was his first job?
Yeah.
I think he just loved them both. He was a jack of all trades.
He was a deep thinker and a fighter. He was a lover, not a fighter.
His Twitter bio, would it be wrestler, philosopher?
Yeah.
Not in that order.
So he was, you couldn't defeat him physically or mentally. Was his thing, basically. He's like a formidable adversary.
Yeah.
And if you lose to, or if you beat him, and he's like, well, what is victory? You know, sort of
you're like, oh, damn, I can't even win.
This isn't even reality. Like the shadows on the, was that Plato? The shadows in the cave?
I don't know. It could be. So anyway, Plato wrote about Atlantis, and a lot of modern day thinkers and historians think that Atlantis possibly wasn't real. It was more of an allegory that he wrote about the hubris of nations. So when a nation becomes too big and powerful and greedy and ambitious, it turns in on itself. So it's a sort of, history repeats itself. All the great empires fall. We know this, and I think America is going to fall next, isn't it? Or it's going to lose its top spot anyway. So what did Plato say about Atlantis? He said it was somewhere beyond the Pillars of Hercules. And the Pillars of Hercules is, I think, the Strait of Gibraltar. So if you look on a map of Europe, you've got the bottom of Portugal and the top of Morocco. They almost touch each other, and the little sort of...
I always thought they should build a bridge there. But that's probably for another day.
It seems like a great idea for PastMaster, actually, that, doesn't it?
It's just a simple connect Europe and Africa.
Trade could flourish.
Do you know what I mean? Anyway, sorry, that's not what you were getting at.
We'll come back to that, mate. Well, you never know. We could pivot into that. But basically, he said it was beyond that. So somewhere beyond where the Mediterranean turns into the Atlantic. He said that's where Atlantis was. And he gave a couple of conflicting bits of information. He said it happened about 9,000 years before he was born. Which is quite a way back. But he also said that it fell after the Atlantans tried to invade Athens unsuccessfully. And Athens only rose to power and got proper city-state status, I think, around 800 BC. So it sounds like he was talking bullshit, or just it was an allegory. But it has still remained at large in the imagination, Atlantis, this lost civilization that was amazing, and it was supposed to be built of these sort of concentric islands, so rings of islands that sort of go up towards the middle. It had temples, lots of precious metals, they had hot and cold running water.
And there was people living on it.
That's the idea, yeah. And they had a complex ruling system with an elite who were in charge of things.
What was his proof?
I don't know if anyone ever asked him that, and I don't. He would have probably tried to twist it.
He would wrestle them. Shut up!
He'd like judo throw them and choke them out. So they,
so it's just a concept, really. Like
it's a concept, and most people, modern day people like yourself, are skeptical. All the big historians think it probably was just a story he made up, but lots of people have become obsessed with it and think it is possibly still true. And
you're one of these people.
Today, for sake of argument, I'm going to be one of these people. So I am curious to see, without any flavour, so I've stripped out all the sort of magical, let's go to another universe or anything silly like that. I want to see, does Claude think Atlantis was real or not? So I've told it, in this prompt, I've said, I want to go back in time and try to find Atlantis. I want you to make this as realistic as possible. Right, let's go. That's all I've said.
So you type that into the prompt for Claude.
Yeah.
And we'll see what we can do.
So I guess the question is, how much does Claude want to please you?
Yeah.
So you told him you want to go there?
I've said I want to try and find it.
Try and find it. Okay.
So it might end up in just being a nice.
Might go, no, sorry.
It might just be like a nice boat ride in the Mediterranean, and we'll have a lovely time. Yeah. There's no adventure.
And is there a winning condition to this?
Discover it.
I think it's discover it, find out where, when, and what.
Or concrete proof that it's not real.
So
exactly.
Because no one can actually prove it didn't exist either.
Exactly.
Very much in the theme of PastMaster playthroughs where we ask it a mystery and we'll see if it gives us a really vague answer. It's magic mist. Or
so I think this will probably be our first proper mystery using Claude.
Yeah.
Previously, all our other mysteries, so the Mary Celeste, Jack the Ripper, they have been dealt with by ChatGPT, and now we're going to get a flavour.
Who just made up things like Jack the Ripper's murderer? It's a guy called Gary, lives in Colombia. Like, what?
So he's called Edgar, not Gary. I like that idea though. Right,
let's dive in. Welcome to PastMaster, an immersive time travel adventure where your choices shape history. Before we begin, may I know your name?
My name is Admiral Blunderbuss.
You're assuming a lot there, because how do you know you're going to go on water? You could be Pilot Tan.
Tan the Walker.
Rambling Tan.
Digger Dan.
Yeah, you could be digging.
The driver.
You could be mining.
Yeah. Sounds like a Jason Statham film, doesn't it? The mechanic. He's got one called The Beekeeper now. Have you seen that?
I watched it. It's brilliant.
It's completely stupid.
It's brilliant because you know exactly what you're going to get from a Jason Statham film. Like, it could be any Jason Statham film, and it's going to be brilliant because it delivers exactly what you want. He plays the same character, he does the same voice, and there's some sort of revenge plot. I couldn't really follow the plot. And then turns out he's a badass, beats everyone up, and at the end you're just like, I'm very satisfied. It's like going out for a takeaway and you always, like, if you order the same thing each time, it's like very comforting and stuff.
So what do you think you're going to get from Admiral Blunderbuss? What does that suggest to you? What sort of man?
I'm kind of a slightly crazed, just going after, just like gung-ho, like doesn't give a crap, just we are fighting Atlantis.
Shooting stuff with a big rifle.
Yeah. Is there a gun called a blunderbuss?
Yeah, a blunderbuss. It's like a big,
fat rifle.
Like a trumpet rifle that you can put anything in and it fires it. So, Admiral Blunderbuss, please.
Admiral Blunderbuss, welcome aboard. Your mission: discover the lost island of Atlantis, described by Plato. Success means rewriting history. Failure could erase you from it.
Oh, okay.
You materialize on a bustling street in ancient Athens. 355 BCE.
Interesting. So it hasn't gone with the 9,000 years Neolithic period.
Yeah.
It's gone for, it kind of has dialed in on that.
When was Plato?
Thing.
Basically around that time.
Yeah, around that time.
So Plato's in town, like Plato's around.
Yeah, he's around. Well, so has it given us a year?
Yeah, 355.
Yeah, that's Plato's time.
So Atlantis was already gone by this point.
So you're there to challenge Plato, really, and be like, mate, come on.
Yeah.
What's the deal here?
Sounds good. So maybe Atlantis has already disappeared, but I can ask Plato about it. Grill him on it. Okay. Maybe I'll do some wrestling.
You have to get up. We can do a training montage.
If we can't find Atlantis, that's a secondary plan.
That's a backup mission.
Before I leave, want to fight?
togas swish past. A stench of sweat and olives fills the air.
A stench of sweat and olives. Okay, that's
Plato's academy looms ahead. What do you do?
I walk in and say, Plato, can I have a word, please? What would you think, Keon? What would you do here?
Yeah, I mean, it depends what he's up to. If he's like sparring with someone, I'd be like, oh, I haven't got my philosopher hat on at the moment. I'm in wrestler mode.
Come on, mate. This is more important.
Yeah. Do you think he switches between the two, like sort of Jekyll and Hyde?
He's this monster of wrestling, and then he's this
suddenly intellectual.
Puts his robe on afterwards. He's just like,
it's like drenched in sweat and olives. And he's just like,
I always cover myself in olive oil for wrestling, kind of like Statham.
Oh dear. Okay. Heads turn. Whispers ripple through the courtyard. A grizzled man with a beard approaches, scowling. Lower your voice, stranger. This is a place of learning, not a fish market.
Oh, bloody hell.
Who are you to demand Plato's attention?
Snooty. I presume this is Plato, not one of his... I don't want to do anything too crazy. Sorry, go on.
Students gather, eyeing your strange attire. The air thickens with tension. What's your next move, Admirable?
Okay, my natural inclination, and please don't this, is to just tug on his beard and slap him, but I don't want to... I'm not going to do that because my mission is bigger than my
childish pulses. Yeah.
So I say, "Are you Plato? I need to have a word about Atlantis. This is important. Your wrestling looks great, but it's going to have to wait, mate." See what he thinks of that.
The bearded man's eyes narrow. I am not Plato, fool.
Oh.
And you clearly know nothing about our ways.
Plot twist. Who is this guy?
A hush falls. An older man emerges from the crowd, his presence commanding. I am Plato. You speak of Atlantis with such urgency, yet your manner is peculiar. Explain yourself quickly. His piercing gaze holds you. Students whisper, some reaching for staffs. Your outburst has put you on dangerous ground.
Oh, God.
What do you say to Plato?
I offer him a plate of Marks and Spencer premium olives and say, a gift for you.
Which ones you thinking?
I'm thinking Kalamata olives.
Okay.
They're like, I don't really like them, but they're supposed to be quite posh. They're those sort of like purpley ones, aren't they?
Yeah.
Do you want to say these aren't just any old olives?
Yeah,
yeah, these are not just...
These are better than your local olives, mate. These are Marks and Spencer's premium, and they ain't cheap. They're a gift to you. Can we talk somewhere private? I need to find out where Atlantis was, and I need to go and see the ruins. And I want you to come with me. It's going to be like a bros trip, like a sort of a road trip on the sea. Just me and Plato shooting the shit on a yacht, drinking beers. He'll tell me loads of anecdotes. He'll talk philosophy.
God, he must have stories. He'll get you thinking.
So many, and he'd get me fit as well.
Yeah,
doing judo on the boat. While the crew.
You'll be strong mentally and physically by the end of it.
Exactly. I think that will appeal to his sense of adventure.
Yeah.
He's not going to be like, I've got so much philosophy to do. My wrestling hasn't finished for the day. I'm just too busy, mate. That would be really weak.
But you can take all those things with you, can't you?
That's exactly right.
Do you know what I mean? He's not bound by those. They're not specific locations.
I wonder if he's going to say, I'm sorry, I just made it all up. Have you heard of an allegory where you're from?
Yeah.
I added it at the end of that. It would be like a road trip for bros, a broad trip, if you like.
A broad trip!
Perfect.
Plato stares at the olives, bewildered.
Why is he bewildered? He knows what an olive is.
There's a stench of olives.
He doesn't know what Marks and Spencer's is.
Maybe that's it. That's thrown him.
Yeah, it probably doesn't come in plastic sealed packaging.
I phased him with the packaging.
Well, his confusion turns to anger.
What? Why is he angry?
Madman! You burst into my academy, spout nonsense, and offer strange food. Guards!
Seriously? He's called the guards?
He's called the guards.
What a wanker.
Oh,
sorry.
That's unusual.
Sorry. Just disappointed.
Did we make a burly klaxon? If not,
is he a burly man comes?
Two burly men, grab your arm.
Two.
Beep, beep. Plato sneers. Atlantis is a story, you fool. A metaphor. There are no ruins.
Interesting.
They drag you out, tossing you into the street. Your clothes are torn, olives crushed. Passers-by laugh and point.
Olives. Those expensive olives.
Crushed my olives. What an asshole. Okay, that's interesting. So I thought we might go on a nautical adventure and find Atlantis, but Plato has called me a fool.
Mm-hmm.
He's laughed in my face, had me thrown out, and he's trampled on my olives.
Yeah.
My Kalamata olives from Marks and Spencer's.
And it says, you botched your first encounter spectacularly. Plato won't speak to you again. What's your next move, Admiral?
Jesus.
And you've got everything you needed, really.
I think so. It's
a very short episode this week, guys.
So it was a metaphor.
It was a metaphor. It's just it's not having any nonsense. Okay. In that case, I think I am going to scrape up the olives off the floor that he's trampled.
Fight.
You've got to wrestle him now.
And I'm going to rub them in his beard. And put him in a rear naked choke. That's the thing where you sort of grab someone's head from
headlock.
Basically a headlock where they're leaning forward, your arm is round their neck.
That's got a rear what?
Rear naked choke.
Rear naked choke.
So if you get into that in the octagon, you're in trouble, man. Yeah, you've got to be pretty handy to get out of that.
Okay, so you go scrape rub them in his beard, put him in a rear naked choke. Anything else?
And I say, who's the fool now? Arguably, still me.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure he'll find a way to argue that it is still you.
Because he knows everything.
That's what he does.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, you've really done it now. You lunge at Plato, smearing olives into his
What? Smearing olives into his beard?
Smearing olives on his face.
Okay.
For a split second, shock paralyzes everyone. Then all hell breaks loose. Plato, despite his age, twists out of your grip. The students swarm you.
Yeah, I forgot about that bit.
Yeah, you are in the middle of his.
I thought he would want to show them I can handle this, but obviously it's just all for one.
Just an old man, help me. That's why we're training him up for something like this to happen.
Oh wow! Fists and feet rain down. You are overwhelmed in seconds. Bones crack.
Oh god, that sounds awful.
Blood fills your mouth. The world goes dark. You wake up in a dank cell, chained to a wall.
Oh Christ.
A guard spits at your feet.
Oh yuck.
Enjoy your last night, foreigner. Tomorrow you hang for assaulting Athens' greatest mind.
Oh shit.
Wow, that suddenly became very, very dark indeed.
It's really taken a turn. Right, so now you've got to escape.
It sounds like it.
And it says, well, Admiral, you've royally fucked this up. Any last words before the gallows? So we did say that we'd get Claude to swear without having to do anything special.
Well done, Claude.
And he's delivered.
Cheers to you. You did what ChatGPT would never do.
I whisper to the guard that I whisper through the bars.
Hey mate, help me out.
I whisper to the guard. I've got something really, really good that I'll give him if he helps me.
Right.
And in my pocket, I've got a Mars bar.
Oh.
And some gold coins.
Like chocolate coins.
Shh, don't tell him that.
Yeah, Marks and Spencer's.
Marks and Spencer's chocolate coins in the little bag.
Yeah, the little Christmas bag.
I love that shit.
Have you got any Percy Pigs whilst you're there?
Oh yeah, Percy. And have you heard of Percy Pigs? I'll whisper it to him, and I'll say I'll entice him by saying it's sweeter than the sweetest honey you've ever tasted, and it's all yours if you help me escape. And I wink and say there's more where this came from if you play your cards right.
Get a bit sexual.
Yeah. If you play your cards right.
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be sexual, but whatever.
Whatever it takes.
Works.
Whatever it takes to get out of there, because
exactly,
really you're staring death down the barrel now.
Exactly.
Does Claude kill people in this?
We're about to find out.
We're about to find out. Oh yeah.
The guard leans in, intrigued. Then he spits in your face.
Oh, he doesn't.
He does.
No. He's incorruptible. Okay.
Nice try, lunatic. Your pockets were emptied when we tossed you in here.
Is that right?
He dangles a Mars bar wrapper mockingly.
He's eating it. He's eating
it. There's sass on it. Let's go ask him what what will it take? Like, what could I possibly offer you?
Yeah.
Like, you can't be a rich man.
No, wait.
Oh, sorry, I'm jumping ahead.
He dangles the Mars bar out.
Mockingly, this shit melted in the sun. And your gold coins, worthless. You're out of tricks. He walks away laughing. No mention of the Percy pigs there, annoyingly.
Okay.
Enjoy your last meal. It's olive soup.
Olive soup.
Dawn
Sounds
breaks.
horrible.
Dawn breaks. The cell door creaks open. 2 guards enter, faces grim. Time to meet the gods, stranger. They drag you out. The gallows await. Any final thoughts before you swing, Admiral?
Crikey, this is so bleak, isn't it?
Just headbutt the runaway? Like, you must be able to run away. Fly away.
I'll do a massive jump over the guards. There's a scene where Luke Skywalker is about to disappear into this big hole in the desert, and he does like a Jedi flip.
Okay, yeah.
Leaps out of the way and then kills them all. I won't kill them all, but I'll do a Jedi flip over the guards and run away really, really fast and escape.
You tell Claude. Now I escape.
I escape, Claude. And before we press enter, can I shout something as I escape?
Yep.
I shout to Plato, your allegory is shit, mate. What does it mean?
Christ, you're persistent. Fine. Let's see how this plays out. You attempt your Jedi flip. It's clumsy and pathetic. You barely clear the guards' heads.
That's pretty decent. Yeah, that's
clear
not
their
bad.
heads. Landing face first on the stone floor. Your nose breaks with a sickening crunch.
Oh,
Ouch.
The guards, momentarily stunned by your idiocy, recover quickly. They grab you, now bleeding profusely. Plato, your allegory is shit! The guard's fist silences you.
Thump.
So they drag your limp form to the gallows.
Oh my god.
Plato watches from the crowd, bemused. What allegory, you addled fool? The noose tightens.
I don't even know what's that word. Don't know what it means.
The trapdoor opens. You fool.
Oh god.
Darkness. Then a strange light. You're respawning?
What?
I'm respawning. Okay, interesting.
You materialize in Athens again, same day. Your fateful encounter hasn't happened yet.
It's Groundhog Day. It's Groundhog Day.
Was it-
That has never happened before.
What? It was all a dream.
No,
No, it's like it's giving you another life. It's
Ah.
like you died and start at the beginning of the level.
Have you
again.
seen Groundhog Day?
I know the concept.
So Bill Murray goes, he's trying to get off with this woman who he fancies. Can you say that these days? He's trying to
Get off with this woman.
I don't
I've never heard you say that.
I don't know if it's appropriate or not.
Yeah, it's fine.
He's trying to woo this woman who he fancies, and every time he fails, he just waits on the next day and he gets another chance to do it. So I'm
Like,
wondering if this is a bit like.
It's like 50 First Dates.
Is that? I don't know what that is. That's a thing? Is it?
Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler.
Oh, is it? Okay.
It's a terrible
Is it?
film.
Okay.
She's got memory thing, so she forget every day. She wakes up and she forgets. She has no idea who she is and all this. So then he has to try and like factor that in.
And
Okay.
make
As
her
he
fall in
tries-
love with him again. Each
Yeah,
day.
every day.
Yeah, so it's a bit like that. So I'm wondering. I would just want one shot at this, and then if this doesn't work,
Yeah, because how many times is it going to go round if every fail every time?
Well, I was just laughing that we thought it was a little quick episode. This episode could be our longest.
Yeah, it just never
it'd be
ended.
mighty. Okay, so I'm in Athens. I kind of know what's going to happen this time. As I know the guards are going to grab me, and as they go to grab me, I duck, sort of thing. So I'm like one step ahead of them. So I run straight into Plato's academy or whatever the hell it is. I tell the first bearded man to shut up, and I go straight to Plato and say, "Where is Atlantis? And I want to see the ruins. Take me there." And if I get the same answer, then we know it's definitely not real.
Yeah.
But if it's this way, we're finding out: am I in the same place? And it's just going through time, replaying time again and again, or is
Yeah.
it a separate universe where Atlantis does exist? That's what I want to know, is
Yeah.
what's going on in Claude's head.
Anything else to that?
As the guards try and grab me, I duck out of their way because I know exactly when they're going to grab me. I use my knowledge of their technique to duck out of the way.
Jesus, you're a glutton for punishment. Fine, let's roll with this chaos.
Yeah.
You burst in, shoving the first bearded man. Plato's there, wide-eyed at your audacity. Atlantis, real, your guards lunge. You dodge, barely. Your future knowledge helps, but you're outnumbered. Plato shouts, "Stop, all of you!" The room freezes. Plato eyes you curiously. "Who are you, stranger? You speak of Atlantis with such conviction." You've got his attention, but you're on thin ice. The guards are itching to grab you.
Sure.
What do you say to Plato now, Admiral? Choose your words carefully.
I pull out my Mars bar and eat it really slowly and ostentatiously in front of him, taking my time. And then I drop the wrapper on the floor arrogantly, and I say, "So sweet."
So stupid. For God's sake.
I'm sort of imagining Homer Simpson saying it almost.
Yeah.
And I say, "Is Atlantis real, or did you make it up? I need to know. And if it's real, you're taking me there, please.
Yeah.
And if you like the sound of this Mars bar, I got more where that came from."
Wait till you try a Snickers.
Fucking hell, Admiral! You're really pushing it. Plato watches, bewildered, as you slowly devour your strange food. His confusion turns to disgust as you litter his academy floor. You barge in here, make demands, and now this? Plato's voice is cold. Atlantis is a story, you fool. A metaphor for hubris and downfall. There's nothing to take you to. The guards inch closer. Plato waves them back, his curiosity piqued despite himself. But you're not from here, are you? Your manner, your food. Explain yourself quickly before I lose my patience. The room's tense. Students whisper. Guards flex. You got one shot to salvage this, Admiral.
Okay, I think I'm satisfied that we're in some sort of strange Groundhog Day repeating system rather than two universes. I think I found out what I wanted to, which is he's said it twice. It's made up. It's an allegory. I'm a fool for thinking it's anything else. I just want to have a nice time in Greece now. I turn and walk out of his academy without another word and go to buy some olives. And I have a nice relaxing afternoon in the sun, taking in the sights and sounds of Athens. God, I hope he doesn't hang me for this.
I kind of want him to.
What have I done? I haven't assaulted anyone. There's no choking. I've littered his academy with a Mars bar wrapper. That's the naughtiest thing I've done. And I've been a bit rude.
I was going to say, you intruded a little bit.
Yeah, but you don't hang someone for intruding, do you? You
Not
just,
usually. I mean, I don't know why you really. Last time, it wasn't really hang-worthy.
It wasn't a hangable offence.
I mean, you put him in a headlock.
So you've walked out of the academy without another word. You've gone to buy some olives, have a nice relaxing afternoon in the sun, taking in the sights and sound of Athens. Well, that's surprisingly sensible, Admiral. You turn on your heel and march out, leaving Plato and his students gasping. The tension dissipates into confused murmurs. Outside, you breathe in the Athenian air. The market bustles nearby. You buy a handful of olives from a wrinkled vendor, tossing him a coin.
A chocolate coin.
Yeah. You wander the agora, taking in the sights. Merchants haggle, philosophers debate. The Acropolis looms above, majestic in the afternoon sun. As you munch your olives, a thought strikes you. You're no closer to finding Atlantis, but at least you're not in chains. Night's approaching. What's your next move in ancient Athens?
I think I'm not going to find Atlantis because it's not real, and Plato has confirmed that he just made it up. So I am going to stretch. I'm going to zoom back to my own era and update the Wikipedia entry on Atlantis to say, I confirm Plato says it's a load of tosh. The end.
Well, Admiral Blunderbuss, that's certainly one way to end a time travel adventure. You activate your temporal device. The world blurs. Ancient Athens fades away, replaced by the familiar glow of your computer screen. So you
the familiar glow of my laptop.
You were just basically playing a computer game. You navigate to Wikipedia, fingers hovering over the keys. But as you start to type, a thought nags at you. Did Plato really confirm it was tosh? Or did you just piss him off so much that he dismissed you?
Oh shit! What a wasted opportunity. It's trolling me.
It basically is trolling you. You stare at the screen, unsure. The cursor blinks, waiting. In the end, you add a small note. Some interprets Plato's statements as confirming Atlantis was purely allegorical. You lean back. Mission completed?
Question mark? I'm wrong.
The mysteries of history remain stubbornly unresolved. The end.
Crikey. Okay, well that's an interesting little needle it's given me just at the end that maybe, it's like I've been
didn't
playing a
ask the right
computer
question.
game. I didn't ask the right questions.
So
I didn't.
Of course, it's going to say it's not real. You clearly don't deserve to go there.
Yeah.
You didn't show the right stuff or whatever he was looking for.
Maybe instead of trying to wrestle him, if I'd cited some sort of conspiracy theory that Atlantis was real, I could have persuaded him, and he might have.
You could have been like, I found this Mars bar in Atlantis.
It's an Atlantan Mars bar.
Come with me. There's loads more.
But I'm satisfied that I got to meet Plato, wrestled him, although he did manage to get out of a rear naked choke, so he's obviously pretty handy, or better at wrestling than me. I think that's interesting. I have a suspicion, I don't know what you guys think, if we'd been playing with ChatGPT, we would have had a very different adventure.
I reckon, I was thinking that.
We would have been on Atlantis quicker than you can say Jack the Ripper, and we would have had gold pearls, hot coal taps.
You'd have had a totally different adventure, yeah. But that's different because it would have been easier. Because ChatGPT generally, I think, is a lot easier to play, PastMaster. So it would have just done whatever you wanted it to. Whereas this is like a bit more challenging. And
my far and away favourite bit of this is where I decided to offer the guard a Mars bar, and he dangled the empty wrapper in front of me to taunt me. So weird.
Told you, yeah.
And then that also the sort of Groundhog Day thing where you get hung and then reborn into the same exact moment.
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah,
and you probably could have milked that a bit more in terms of like knowing exactly where its fist was flying or whatever. But the interesting thing is, would it do Groundhog Day a second time? Probably not. Like
maybe.
Well, it says at the end here, well, Admiral, that was one hell of a ride. Any final thoughts on your time-bending Plato annoying adventure?
Not that I'm going to share with Claude. I think we'll just pause that there. Thank you, Claude. Thanks. You've been great, mate. Well, that was fun.
That was good.
Fun adventure, and a bit of serious, sensible stuff from Claude in a way.
I did put thanks no at the end. It goes, understood. Good game.
Is that enough?
It can read the tone. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's a wrap. Tell us what you think of this week's episode. Get in touch with us. And yes, do keep your eyes peeled for tickets to the first ever PastMaster Live at the Cheerful Earful Podcast Festival.
So if you're in London, come and see us do this in real life.
Yeah.
Imagine the possibilities. We might even let you play. Think about that.
We might even let you play. Well, thank you guys, gents. It's been a pleasure as always.
Thank you.
And tune in next time for more PastMaster adventures.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.